There is this really comforting lie we all kind of tell ourselves about cybercrime. It's the whole Hollywood image.
Oh, yeah, the guy in the basement.
Right. We picture a guy, usually a guy, right, sitting in some dark room, hoodie up, maybe Mountain Dew on the desk, furiously typing green text into a black screen. It feels like a battle of wits. Human versus human. The hacker against the sysadmin.
It is romantic in a way. It makes it feel like a fair fight. If you're smart enough, or, if your IT team is smart enough, you can outsmart the guy in the chair.
Right. But I was reading the source material for today's deep dive, and honestly, that image is totally dead. That guy in the hoodie, he's basically been outsourced. He's been replaced by something that doesn't sleep, doesn't drink coffee, doesn't make typos, and learns faster than any human being possibly could.
That is the reality check we are facing right now. We are moving from the era of the hacker to the era of the algorithm. It is a complete paradigm shift.
So, welcome to the WeCyberYou Unlocked podcast. Today, we are doing a deep dive into a really heavy hitter of a topic. We have this comprehensive guide provided by the team at WeCyberYou titled AI Power Attacks. And the mission today is pretty straightforward, even if the content is, well, a little terrifying. We need to understand what happens when criminals stop manually typing code and start using artificial intelligence to do their dirty work for them.
And that is the key distinction the WeCyberYou article makes right off the bat. We aren't just talking about, better tools for hackers. We are talking about automation. We are talking about scaling attacks in a way that was literally physically impossible just a few years ago.
It's the difference between a craftsman building a chair by hand and a massive factory churning out thousands of them an hour.
That is it, exactly. And the goal here isn't to just ruin everyone's day with fear-mongering. It's about literacy. Because if you understand the mechanics of how these AI attacks work, if you understand the factory, you stop being low-hanging fruit.
I really like that. Let's aim to be high-hanging fruit today. So let's get into the definition. The source material defines AI-powered attacks fairly specifically. It's not just, magic computer stuff. How does WeCyberYou break this down?
So at its core, an AI-powered attack is where the adversary uses machine learning and artificial intelligence to automate, scale, and this is the really important word here, enhance malicious activities.
Enhance. That's doing a lot of heavy lifting there. It sounds like a generic corporate buzzword, but in this context, it's actually incredibly dangerous.
It is. Think about the constraints of a human hacker. They have to sleep, they have to eat, they get bored, they can only look at one screen at a time. AI removes those constraints entirely. The article highlights three big differentiators: speed, targeting, and detection.
Let's look at targeting first, because that's the part that feels so personal. The source mentions that AI is used to analyze just massive amounts of stolen data. We've all seen the headlines, right? Like 20 million emails leaked here, 500 million passwords leaked there.
Right. And for a human criminal, that data is almost too big to use effectively. It's a needle in a haystack problem. You can't manually read 20 million emails to find the one guy who works at a specific bank and talks about his dog, Buster, in an unencrypted thread. But an AI,
It just eats it up.
oh, absolutely. It can ingest terabytes of leaked data, correlate it with your LinkedIn profile, your public tweets, and your company website, and build a highly detailed profile of you in seconds.
That's the brain of the attack. It's not just throwing rocks at a window randomly. It's studying the actual blueprints of the house first.
Spot on. It's analyzing patterns humans would miss. And that capability leads directly to the second point, which is vulnerability scouting. The article describes this as the AI automatically scanning systems to find weak points.
Yeah, I was trying to visualize this while reading the report, and I came up with an analogy. Tell me if this tracks with the technical side. Old school hacking is kind of like a burglar walking down a street checking door handles. Maybe he checks 10 houses in an hour. If the doors are locked, he shrugs and moves on.
That is a classic brute force approach. It's slow, it's tedious, and frankly, it's high risk for the burglar.
Right. But an AI attack, it's like a machine that descends on the city and tries every single door handle on every single house simultaneously. And not only that, if it finds a locked door, it instantly 3D prints a key based on what it knows about that specific lock mechanism.
That is a terrifyingly accurate analogy. It captures the scale perfectly. It is an automated siege engine.
Yeah.
And because it happens so fast, simultaneously across thousands of targets, it becomes incredibly hard to detect. By the time a human security analyst notices a blip on the radar, the AI has already tried the door, found the key, and looted the room.
So we've established that the engine driving this is faster and smarter. Now I want to open up the arsenal itself. The WeCyberYou report lists the specific types of attacks this technology enables, and some of these are Well, they are evolving fast.
They are. And top of the list is something we're all familiar with, but it's gotten a massive facelift. Phishing.
Ah, yes. The Nigerian prince. The urgent invoice attached from a sender named Amazon Support 123. We are pretty good at spotting those now because they usually look terrible.
We are. We have been trained to look for the typos, the weird grammar, the generic dear valued customer greetings. But the article calls this next phase phishing 2.0, or AI-driven spear phishing.
Because the AI actually knows how to write now.
It knows how to write, and it knows context. Large language models can generate text that is basically indistinguishable from a native speaker. But more importantly, because of that data analysis we talked about earlier, it can personalize it.
So instead of dear customer, it's, hey, I saw your post about the Q3 marketing number.
Exactly. Imagine receiving an email that looks like it is from your boss. It uses his nickname for you. It references a project you are actually working on, information gleaned from a public press release or a previous breach. It asks you to review an attached PDF. The tone is perfect. The grammar is flawless. Why wouldn't you click it?
That is weaponized competence. It completely removes the tells we rely on. And speaking of removing tells, we have to talk about the next one on the list. This is the one that seriously keeps me up at night. Deepfakes.
This is a major focus in the WeCyberYou report, and for very good reason. Deepfakes involve using AI to synthesize audio or video to impersonate real people, usually executives or public figures.
We've all seen the funny ones online, Tom Cruise doing magic tricks on TikTok. But in a security context, this isn't a joke.
No, it's devastating. We are seeing real-world attacks where a finance employee receives a phone call. They pick up, and it's the CFO. They recognize the voice. They recognize the cadence, the specific verbal tics. The CFO says, look, we are closing an acquisition. I need you to wire the down payment to this vendor immediately. I'm stuck in a meeting. Just get it done.
And because your ears tell you it's the CFO, you just do it.
You bypass protocol because you trust your senses. The implication here is massive. Verification by voice is dead. Even video verification is on extremely shaky ground. We are entering a world where I saw it with my own eyes or I heard it with my own ears is no longer proof of truth.
It's gaslighting on an industrial scale. Okay, moving down the arsenal list. Automated password attacks. The source calls this smarter brute force.
Right. So traditional brute force is dumb. It's guessing password 123, then password 124, and so on. It's noisy and takes forever. AI-driven credential stuffing is distinct.
How does the AI change the game here? Is it really just guessing faster?
Not just faster, but smarter. It profiles the target. Let's say the AI is trying to break into your corporate account. It knows from your social media that you have a dog named Rover and you were born in 1985. It's not going to waste time guessing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to generate variations like Rover 1985 exclamation point or 1985 Rover question mark. It prioritizes the guesses that are statistically likely for you specifically.
So it's optimizing the guessing game? It's cutting out all the junk guesses?
Effectively, yes. It increases the success rate dramatically while reducing the total number of attempts, which helps it stay right under the radar of standard security alarms.
Sneaky. And speaking of sneaky, the last item in the arsenal really highlights the patience of AI. Social engineering at scale. The article mentions chatbots.
This is the long con.
Usually a scammer wants to get in and get out. They do not have time to chat with you for weeks.
A human scammer doesn't. They have to sleep, eat, and hustle other victims. But a malicious AI chatbot, it can talk to 10,000 victims at once. It can remember that you said your mom was sick 3 days ago and actually ask about her today. It builds rapport.
Yeah.
It simulates empathy.
That is just so dystopian. You are pouring your heart out to a script.
We see this a lot in romance scams or investment scams, often called pig butchering scams. The victim thinks they're building a real relationship, but they're actually being groomed by a piece of code running on a server in a basement somewhere. The AI builds trust over weeks or months until the victim is willing to send money.
It industrializes emotional manipulation. Man. So we've got the siege engine, the imposter boss, the smart guesser, and the empathy bot. I want to pivot to part 3 of our deep dive. The why. Why is this such a critical danger right now? The source material highlights a concept called malware evasion.
This is the technical pivot point. The article discusses AI-modified malware that adapts to security tools.
Adapts? That sounds almost biological, like a bacteria becoming resistant to antibiotics.
That is a great parallel, actually. Traditional antivirus software works on signatures. It has a database of mugshots for known viruses. If a file looks like the mugshot, it gets blocked.
Okay, so if the virus wears a fake mustache, the antivirus might miss it.
In a manner of speaking, yes. AI allows for what we call polymorphic malware. Every time it infects a new system, it can rewrite its own code structure, its DNA, while keeping the exact same malicious function. It changes its face. So the antivirus looks at its list of mugshots, sees a stranger, and just lets it in.
So the lock is static, but the key is constantly shape-shifting.
And it goes further than that. The AI can learn what the security tool is looking for. It can mimic benign behavior. It might sit dormant on your laptop, wiggling the mouse occasionally, opening a Word doc, pretending to be a regular user, all to trick the behavioral analysis tools into thinking it's human. Then once the coast is clear, boom.
That level of sophistication used to be reserved for nation-states, top-tier spy agencies. Now it's just available as a service.
That's the efficiency point. The WeCyberYou article hammers home. It is the commoditization of sophistication. The barrier to entry has lowered so much, you don't need to be a master coder to launch these attacks anymore. You just need to rent the AI that is.
Low risk, high reward. And the impact isn't theoretical. The source lists financial fraud, identity theft, data breaches. It is the whole menu of misery.
And because it is scalable, it affects everyone. It used to be that if you were a small business, you were utilizing security by obscurity. You were simply too small to hack. But if an AI is casting a net over the entire internet, size does not matter. Everyone is a target because the cost of attacking you is effectively zero.
Okay, I need you to stop. I am sufficiently spooked. The robots are at the door, they have the keys, and they sound exactly like my boss. Please tell me, the WeCyberYou report offers a shield here. How do we fight something that learns?
We are not defenseless. The report is actually quite optimistic about defense, provided we adapt. The first line of defense is totally non-negotiable. It is the golden rule: multi-factor authentication, or MFA.
We hear this all the time, turn on 2FA, but does it actually stop a super intelligent AI?
It does. And here is why. Even if the AI guesses your password, using that smart profiling we talked about, or even if you fall for a deepfake and hand over your login details, the AI lives in the digital realm. It does not have your physical thumb. It does not have your physical phone in its hand to see that 6-digit code.
It breaks the automation chain.
That is it. It introduces a physical barrier that digital intelligence struggles to hurdle. It's not completely foolproof. There are sophisticated ways around it, but it stops the vast majority of automated attacks dead in their tracks.
Okay, so MFA is the moat around the castle. What about the human element? If the AI is mimicking humans, how do we spot the imposters?
We have to upgrade our skepticism. The article suggests a tactic called out-of-band verification.
Fancy term. What does it actually mean in practice?
It means you verify a request using a different communication channel than the one it arrived on. If you get an email from the CEO asking for money, don't reply to the email. The email might be compromised. Pick up the phone, call them, walk over to their desk.
If you get a phone call that sounds weird, you hang up and call them back on a known number.
Correct. You break the loop. If it was a deep fake, the real person will answer your call and say, "What are you talking about?"
It seems like the common thread here is slowing down.
That is the best defense. AI relies on speed and urgency. The source warns us specifically about emotional triggers. AI phishing is programmed to make you panic. Your account is banned. The IRS is coming. Act now.
So if I feel my heart rate go up reading an email, that's a red flag.
Huge red flag. If a message makes you feel fear or extreme urgency, stop. Take a breath. That 5-second pause is often enough for your rational brain to kick in and say, wait, the IRS does not email people asking for gift cards.
So MFA, cross-verification, and taking a breath. But surely we can use technology to fight technology. It can't just be on us humans doing breathing exercises.
Absolutely. The WeCyberYou article mentions deploying AI-based security monitoring tools. It is the concept of fighting fire with fire.
My bot versus your bot.
In a way, yes. Human analysts can't watch network traffic 24/7. We blink. We sleep. But defensive AI can establish a baseline of what normal looks like for your network. If it sees a user logging in from 3 different countries at once or a file rewriting its own code, it can spot that anomaly instantly.
It catches the pattern before the damage is actually done.
And it can react faster than a human ever could. It can lock the account or quarantine the file in milliseconds. We need machines to catch machines.
And finally, the source emphasizes education, which I suppose is what we are doing right now.
It is the most critical layer. You can have the best firewalls in the world, but if an employee doesn't know that deepfakes exist, they will open the door. Awareness is the patch for the human operating system.
A patch for the human operating system. I really like that. We are the glitchy software, aren't we?
Always have been.
Well, this has been a huge eye-opener. We've gone from the hoodie-wearing hacker to the automated siege engine, and finally to the defensive AI shield. It's an arms race, plain and simple.
It is, and it's one that is going to keep evolving.
Yeah.
The tools we talked about today will be completely different in 6 months.
Which is exactly why you need to stay plugged in. This deep dive was based on the AI power attacks article, but we really just scratched the surface of the technical details provided by WeCyberYou.
It is a dense topic, but a vital one. Ignorance is not bliss here. It is a critical vulnerability.
So if you are listening to this and realizing your cybersecurity knowledge is a few years out of date, you need to go directly to the source. We strongly recommend you visit WeCyberYou.com. They have a ton of educational cybersecurity content like this that breaks down the complex stuff, the polymorphic code, the defense strategies, into things you can actually use to protect yourself and your business.
Definitely. And don't forget to follow the channel here. As we said, the landscape changes incredibly fast. You don't want to miss the next deep dive when the next big shift happens.
Before we sign off, I want to leave everyone with a thought, a bit of a philosophical itch to scratch. We spent a lot of time talking about deepfakes and AI mimicking human behavior, the voice, the writing style, the simulated empathy.
It is entirely blurring the lines between what is real and what is generated.
Right. So here's where my brain goes. If AI can mimic human behavior perfectly, if it can write like us, speak like us, look like us, and even fake empathy better than some actual people I know, we are heading toward a future where the biggest challenge isn't protecting our passwords. It is proving that we are actually human.
That is a profound problem, the proof of humanity.
Exactly. In a digital world that can fake absolutely everything, how do you prove you aren't the code? Something to mull over while you set up your multi-factor authentication tonight.
Just don't let it keep you up too late.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive on the WeCyberYou Unlocked podcast. Stay safe out there.
Stay safe and stay skeptical. Goodbye.